Guess what the topic is today? We're going to be baking a chocolate cake. Nope, just kidding. We're going to be doing some splinting and some bandaging for first aid on the Camino. Stick around. Hello, my name is Gigi and this is Bella. Welcome to the Perpetual Pilgrim. This is where we talk about anything and everything that has to do with walking a Camino. In the previous video, we discussed the 3 C's when caring for an injured person on the Camino. The first C was the check. We check the scene to make sure it's safe for us to enter, and we check the person for any life-threatening situations, such as no pulse, no breathing. And we get an idea of what may be going on. Then we do the next step, which is our second C, call. We call 112, the national emergency number for not just Spain, but all of Europe. Today we're going to be discussing that last step, which is care. We're going to give care to this person, first aid, whatever we can do to stabilize the person and get them ready to transport to a medical facility. For the last 40 plus years, I've been working as a professional ski patroller, both here in Northern California on Donner Summit and also in Europe. But anyway, when you're out on the ski mountain and responding to incidents, you've got these, nifty little first aid packs that have everything in them, like, gauze pads and tapes and triangular bandages and these nifty little SAM splints, and of course you've always got your gloves and whatever. Oh, and a roller bandage. But when you're out on the Camino, you're not going to have any of this stuff. You're not going to be carrying one of these big packs, but you're still going to need to treat the injured person. So we're going to have to figure out how we can improvise what we have in our backpacks to take care of our injured pilgrim. So we're going to talk about what we have in our backpacks that we can substitute for stuff like gauze and tape and triangulars and all this stuff. We're going to have to get creative, but we can do it. Let's talk first about gauze pads. These are used for controlling bleeding and for bandaging. What can you use if you don't have these gauze pads? Well, how about a couple of napkins? Or maybe that little pack of Kleenex that you have in your bag. Or, of course, everybody has toilet paper. Perfect. Now, if you're worried about bloodborne pathogens and you don't know the person you're working on, and of course you're not going to have gloves to put on, but you still are concerned about the bloodborne pathogens, very easy to take care of it without endangering yourself. You just say, hey, put this on your wound and put some pressure on it. Okay, so don't worry about the gloves and use these things. A triangular bandage. These are so useful for so many things. We use them all the time, not only as a triangular bandage to be used as a sling, but when it's all folded up, it's a cravat or something to tie a splint onto an injured arm or leg. When you're using this as a triangular bandage for a sling, you take the little point, put a half knot in it, and now you've got a little cup area to put the elbow in. Wrap it around, tie it up, and voila, you've got that sling. But we don't have these in our backpack, so what do we use? How about a shirt? We've all got clothing in our backpacks. Okay, all you're going to need to do is take the tail of the shirt, tie that little half knot in the tail. Now you've got that cradle for the elbow. Take the sleeves, wrap them around, and voila! You've got a sling for that broken arm made out of a shirt. Remember that triangular bandage that when it came out of the pack, it was all folded up like this? And it was a cravat. And this cravat we can use to tie splints on arms, splints on legs. These are really handy. They're just ties, basically, stuff that you can tie splinting material onto the person. So what do we use for ties? Well, we've got several options. You could use a belt or several people's belts. Or how about those ties on your backpack? You could do without those for a while. But the one that I like the best is a buff. Everybody's got a buff, but you're gonna have to sacrifice it to use it. So you get out your trusty pocket knife. Mine has the corkscrew on it. And yeah, you're gonna have to sacrifice the buff. Cutting it down the long edge. You get to the last part and just, there we go. Okay, so now you've got a buff that you can cut into a lot of strips. And then these strips are going to be used as your ties. By the way, you'll probably notice that we have used belts and shirts and all kinds of personal equipment on this person that we're taking care of. And if you want it back, you're going to need to go with them to the hospital and make sure you tell the medical personnel that when you take the equipment off of the person, please give it back to me. I want my belt. I want my ties for my backpack. I really want that shirt because it's the only one I have. Well, hello again. Hey, I'm with my best friend and Camino buddy. This is Lisa.
Hello.
And Lisa has agreed to let me do some bandaging on her. You know, Lisa is the person that, has it been 4 years ago?
Yes.
That we did the Celtic Camino, which starts in Ireland, and then we finished up on the Camino Frances to Santiago. It was a wonderful trip.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, so my friend Lisa has broken her left arm. Now, usually when a person presents the injury, they're holding it in a position of comfort. And that's usually the way you want to just splint it up, because they have found where it works best. So just leave it like that. It's okay. Now, we're going to want to check 3 things. We're going to check what we call CSM, which is circulation, sensation, mobility. The first thing I'm going to do is check circulation, and I'm checking a radial pulse. Her fracture is here, so I want to check a pulse that is distal or away from the injured area. So the way to check that radial pulse is you just use your 2 fingers. You have a tendon that runs down from your thumb. Put it on the tendon, slip to the thumb side, and you should find that radial pulse. Never use your thumb because you have a pulse in your thumb. So, yep, we have a really strong pulse, so that's good. If we did not have a pulse, that would indicate that we do not have circulation. The circulation is compromised by the fracture, and that would be immediate evacuation from the area, usually helicopter to the nearest surgical facility. Okay, so we have circulation. Then we need to check for sensation. So Lisa, close your eyes. Tell me what finger I'm touching.
Middle.
Okay, so that's sensation. We've got, she can feel that I'm touching her fingers. And then mobility. I'm going to ask Lisa to wiggle those fingers. Okay, so she can wiggle the fingers. So we're good. So all we need to do is splint the arm as we see it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is get some kind of a splint or a hard something to put underneath the arm. And I've got my little Camino map here with all the Camino trails. Yeah.
Very big.
Great map. But anyway, it's going to be a splint for today. So we're going to slip it under and have Lisa go ahead and hold it and support it wherever it's comfortable. And then usually we want to put something in the fingers just to give a little something to hold on to. Okay, now remember the cravats that I cut up from that buff? Okay, we're going to use those. I'm going to tie one above the fracture site, and I'll always tie these underneath the splint so the knot's not on the person. And then I'll get another one, and I'll tie this one above the fracture site. And I'm gonna check CSM again. So circulation, yep, I've got a good strong pulse, good, okay. And sensation, can you tell me what finger? Your index finger, good. And can you wiggle those fingers? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're doing good. Now then, remember that shirt that I made into a sling? Well, once again, we've got the knot at the tail end. So that is going to be the cup for the elbow. And I'm going to have Lisa again support underneath. Okay, and this top part, the sleeve, is going to go over here. And the other sleeve is going to go over on this side. And I'll come over on this side and tie it around.
Very comfortable.
And I'm going to do that CSM thing again. I check the pulse. Yep, got a good pulse. Can you tell me what finger I'm touching?
Little.
And can you wiggle your fingers? Good. Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to have Lisa stand up and turn around and show us this splint. Okay, spin all the way around. There it is. That is a shirt splint. Yay! Okay. Well, my friend Lisa sprained her ankle. So now we're going to put some splinting material on the ankle. So we're going to splint the ankle, try to immobilize it, keep her from moving it. Now this is an injury that she will not be able to walk on. So we have to immobilize the whole leg, lower leg area, and then transport her out because she can't obviously walk on this one. So I first of all need to do my CSM again. So the circulation, I'm going to check a pulse, reach in the boot. We want to leave the footwear on because that's going to help stabilize the ankle. So I've got a good pulse at the foot. For sensation and mobility, I'm just going to say, Lisa, can you feel me tapping on your shoe?
Absolutely.
Okay, do you feel like you're wiggling your toes?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, so we have good CSM. Now this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my North Face jacket. And I'm going to just roll it up. And this is going to be the soft splint that is going to cradle and help immobilize the foot. Now before I get the splint on, I'm going to use my cravat and my belt. Remember that belt that somebody donated for our use? I'm going to slip these under and slide them into position. Then I'm going to get a cravat that I have tied two of them together. I'll put it under the ankle. And then I have another one that I've tied together, and that one's going to be going around the toe. Okay, so what I will do is take this rolled up North Face jacket, and I'm going to cradle it around her ankle. And I'll get Lisa to hold on to that, or another person, if there's another person handy. And I'm going to take this belt and just tie it at the top. Okay, that one's tied at the top. Now this other one, this cravat, I'm going to take it right about the heel and tie it off. All these ties you want to put them on the soft splinting area. And then the last one is going to go over the top of the toe. And tie that one off.
Perfect.
And then all these little straps, just kind of tuck them in so they don't, get in the way. And then once again, we're going to check CSM. So let me reach in here, Lisa. And, okay, I have a good strong pulse. And can you feel me tapping your foot?
Yes.
And can you wiggle your toes for me? Okay, so we have good CSM again. And there it is. Now all we need to do is give her a glass of wine and find a couple of big, strong men that can pick her up and carry her to the hospital. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you, Lisa, for helping out. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, if you have any interesting injuries that you have come upon while walking a Camino, leave some comments below. It'd be fun to talk about them. Until next time, salute.